The story coming out of Israeli Defense Force soldiers filmed singing and reciting Hebrew prayers down a microphone in a mosque in Jenin in the occupied West Bank is not really that surprising, given the leadership of the current state of Israel, which is contemptuous of Palestine, Palestinians, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. And I think this isn't a position shared by all Israelis. It's certainly not a position that is acknowledged by all Palestinians, but it is a position that has been established very clearly by the Israeli ambassador to the UK. And she made it very clear this morning that the two-state solution was off the cards. And so therefore, reciting a Jewish prayer in a mosque is something, this level of contempt is something that one probably ought to expect, because the leadership in Israel is not taking Palestine seriously. I think that's a major mistake. I think it's a misreading of the global community, and it's a misreading of the sympathy that was extended to Israel on October the 7th, which is still there. And as for reciting prayers in a mosque, well, there's nothing particularly against reciting prayers in a mosque. It is not normally done in a Jewish tradition. It's perfectly possible for a Muslim to recite prayers in a synagogue. It's perfectly possible for a Christian to recite prayers in a synagogue or in a mosque. But I think it would be considered, most rabbis would consider it inappropriate to recite prayers in a mosque or a church. But it would be expected to be respectful. I say that with caution, because I am also aware of some traditions which are perhaps not so respectful of some religious buildings, but generally the principle is that the principle should be encouraged of respect for religious buildings, and I think I think that respect should be extended to respect for places of education and places that are concerned with healthcare. And I think this should go beyond a United Nations idea, or indeed a sort of war code. It should be embedded in the ethics of a country that religious buildings, educational buildings, and places of healthcare should not be targeted. The ambiguity that has now been established, partly because of the Israeli conflict, the Israeli ground attack in Gaza, has blunted the impact of President Putin's attacks on civilian structures, on hospitals, on theatres and so on, and schools and churches. And there's only so much where an invading society can say this is an error. In the case of Putin, it looks targeted. In the case of Israel, this IDF error today suggests that attacking a mosque is a targeted aim. It's not a good look. And it's not enough simply to condemn the soldiers' behavior. The soldiers feel licensed to do this.